Time for football. Enid Plainsman football with Steve and Steve.
Hello again and welcome to Plainsman Football, the Coaches Show with Steve and Steve. Thank you for joining us each and every week as we talk Plainsman Football right here at the Enid Television Network studios in Enid, Oklahoma. Well, Week 8 is behind us, and it's amazing how quick the season is going. The Plainsmen traveled to Edmond Memorial for another district game. The outcome wasn't too pleasant. It was a 42-20 ball game, and we'll see some highlights in just a few moments. Edmond scored first, but the Plainsmen really just responded quickly and tied the ball game up 7-7 in the first quarter. And by the second quarter, the Plainsmen were ahead, missed the extra points, 13-7. And by halftime, it was a 21-13 ball game, kind of a back-and-forth affair, if you will. The final score, again, was 42-20, and that score was achieved with 8 minutes to go in the game and no scoring after that. So another district loss for the Plainsmen. Coach Hayes, it's a Thursday night game, fall break, a lot of things are going on. You're traveling on the road. It's an important district game. What's your assessment of the ball game?
Well, I mean, I think we made a lot of mistakes. It made it hard to win. And then when we lost Titan Stevens to an injury early in the third quarter, offensively, it became a little bit more difficult to move the football and score at that point. I do think Maddox Mayberry came in the fourth quarter and really did a great job. He was 9 of 11 throwing the football, led us down the field for our final touchdown. Had another really good drive a few minutes later in the game that potentially could have scored. And so real impressed with that little sophomore and the grit and toughness and decision-making that he showed. But definitely hurt us losing Titan at that point in time in the game. We were moving the football and had a good drive going, and unfortunately we've lost him for the year to an ankle injury. And so Maddox will probably be the guy moving forward, and real excited about his opportunity. But I think as far as our game Thursday night, that was probably the final factor that made it difficult for us to come back and win that football game. Didn't do as well on defense tackling that we should have. Not the typical performance that we've had for the year, and allowed them to have too much offensive success. And so overall, one of the more disappointing efforts of the year, honestly.
Coach, I remember, of course, we have to go back into the dark ages when I played, but I remember the impact that would have on the team and maybe the sideline, and also coaches whenever there's an injury during a ball game. Mm-hmm. And for our viewers, can you kind of just explain when an injury takes place that you know about the outcome of the injury or you don't? Still, you're removing a player from the field. What goes on? Because there's an impact. There's an emotional impact, and that's where you got to be mentally strong to move forward.
I think so.
Can you kind of just share with the viewers how does the team and coaches respond to that?
Well, I think part of it is the preparation prior to the game for circumstances like that. We've played a lot of kids at quarterback in the last 6 months. I mean, Maddox is the sixth person to play that position, and for him to come and do it as well as he's done, I think really is a tribute to Coach Condor, who coaches our quarterbacks, and to Maddox as well for being ready in that moment's notice to be able to get in there and play as well as he did. I mean, that's the highest completion percentage we've had all year long, 9 of 11, and really great decision-making to go along with it. And to think that that's the sixth person we've had in 6 months play quarterback is truly phenomenal. And so in a lot of ways it was impressive, at the same time disappointing that we lost. When you're in those moments, while you're going to check on a kid and see the extent of an injury, the rest of the coaching staff is beginning to put plan B in place.
Sure.
Getting the kids together on the sideline talking about what we're going to do next. In this case, who's going to lead the offense, and really how we can tailor what the offense does around their preparation. Which is really what we use our Monday night JV games for. And I think that's one of the reasons Maddox played as well as he did, is all the reps he's gotten on JV the last 7 weeks, how well he's done. And then you go basically to the offensive model that he's been calling and executing at that point and use that model in the game from that point forward. And we got very basic but executed at a high level and was very successful.
Well, you could only imagine what it's like to be thrown into a 6A class game to be quarterback. Just what a challenge that is.
You bet.
Well, Coach, injuries are a part of the game, and it's something you don't want to dwell on, but that, as you said, the assistant coaches are working on Plan B because the there's still time on the clock, and then there's still a game to be played.
That's right.
Okay, we've got probably a dozen or so highlights that we want to show. What are some of the examples before we roll the tape?
I think you're going to see some really good plays defensively of getting after the ball carrier, the quarterback. Our guest, Herman Velazquez, had a couple good plays. You'll meet him in a couple of minutes. Good to see some of his highlights. And then really just a lot of balance offensively between throwing and running the football. You get to see some good decisions that Titan made, as well as how well Maddox performed in the fourth quarter. So some good stuff for the fans to see. If you see the highlights, you think we'd won convincingly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's take this time now to look at the highlights. We'll draw everybody to your television screen.
Good
Coach,
play
there we
defensively
go.
here. I think this is Izzy Mendenhall making the play off the edge, outside linebacker. This is Will's, I believe, first touchdown of the game. No, this is a pass play. Throwing it to Damian Ryman on the stick route. Great catch in tight coverage. Good job securing the football, and I believe that was on third down for a first down. Here's Will's first touchdown of the game. It's on a power play. Saving Vasquez does a good job kicking out. Nate Gamble pulls up inside, and Will does the rest himself. Weaving through there. A good stop and start acceleration burst by him. Here, defensively, good job tackling the quarterback here. This is Herman Velazquez making the play from defensive tackle. Good job of coming down the line and making that play. Here's Will's touchdown run from about 30 yards out. A really good job of being elusive in the open field. Good job of the offensive line of getting him to the third level where
Nothing
he
like
can use
carrying two people with you.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Here, Herman has a sack, causes a fumble. We recover the ball. Big play in the game at this point in time for our defense, and good job by Spike. Here, the GT play. Several defenders there making the play. Dylan Goff finishing it up there at the end. Here, we're running option. Titan does a great job of reading it, pitching the ball out to Will. Really good job blocking at the perimeter by a host of Plainsmen. Good job by the receiving corps on that play for a very positive gain. And then once again, nice play by Izzy Mendenhall coming off the edge and making that shoestring tackle for no gain. Here is Maddox coming in the game. Nice throw, great run by Tyrese. Good physical run, knocks the defender over and battles and gets the first down here. Good decision making by Maddox to see that. Actually had a run play called with the pass option, and he read it correctly through the pass option. Here, Maddox works really well. Good protection by the O-line in the pocket. Throws the ball across the field to Jaden America. Makes a good catch and gets the first down here as well. Maddox again makes a good read, hands the ball off to Thielen. Defense is out of the box defending the pass because of the decisions he made on previous plays, and we have a nice 20-yard gain by Thielen down into the red zone. We end up scoring on that drive.
You're absolutely right. When you look at those playbacks, you're thinking, well, it doesn't match the score.
You're right. You're right.
It just doesn't. When you see the defense,
sometimes we were very effective on both sides of the ball.
When you see the defensive performance and offensive performance. So
for sure.
Again, district game, Edmond Memorial 42 and the Plainsmen 20. We're going to move forward and talk about the Yukon Millers. That's coming up later this week, Friday night game. Home game.
Senior night.
Senior night. So
Yeah.
we'll talk about Yukon game here in just a few moments. Thanks for joining us on the Coaches Show with Steve and Steve. It's our pleasure to bring the program to you each and every week here on Channel 11 and 111 on the Enid Television Network. We're going to take this time out, Coach, and let's meet some other members of the Plainsman team.
Sounds
and then
good.
we're going to come back with our Student Athlete of the Week. Stay with us.
Hey, take a look back to me.
Thielen Phillips, class of 2020, running back.
TJ Parker, sophomore, linebacker, receiver.
Colton Dillon, 2019, offensive line.
I'm Jaden America, junior, receiver DB.
My name is Dave Raymond. I'm class of 2020. I play receiver and safety.
Tyler Holland, class of 2021, offensive line.
Hayden Priest, class of 2019, linebacker.
Welcome back to Plainsman Football, the Coaches Show with Steve and Steve, along with Coach Steve Hayes. We have one of our favorite segments each and every week, the Student Athlete that we get to present. And today our guest is Herman Velazquez. Close?
Yeah.
Herman, I'll just stay with Herman. Thank you for joining us here on the set today.
Thank you.
And you doing all right? Are you sore? You kind of beat up? You feel good? What's the prognosis
I mean,
at this stage of the game?
I feel good.
Okay.
My shoulder isn't bothering me as much as it used to. It's really my knee that bothers me more.
Okay.
But I mean, that's okay.
That's okay. All right. All right, Coach Hayes, he's all yours.
Well, it's been my pleasure to introduce a lot of our seniors to our audience this year, and this is no exception here. I love this kid, love his attitude, his dedication, and his diligence. He's a He's an awesome member of our program. And this is Herman Spike Velazquez. Why don't you tell the audience a little bit about the position you play and how you impact the team?
Well, I play defensive end, and I just feel like if I go hard, it makes the other guys around me go hard too, and they make plays and help me out, and I try my best to help them out too.
Yeah, I mean, as you can see on the highlights, you made several last Thursday night that were important for the game and did a really good job. Now, why do you love to play the game of football?
It's just something I've been doing since 4th grade. It's a fun sport. There ain't nothing like it. I mean, it's as long as it's between whistles. I mean, you get to physically assault somebody legally, so it's fun.
Legally.
You like the rough and tumble. That's good. That's good. We definitely saw that a minute ago.
Coach, we've heard that answer before. You had the opportunity to legally assault someone.
Well, and you know, and it brings up a good point because football is not for everybody.
Yeah.
But for the people it is, they truly love it because it's an opportunity to act within their personality in a way that doesn't make everybody mad.
There was always a phrase, the coaches that I had was, Steve, hit or be hit.
That's right.
And
That's right. We call it be the hammer or the nail. You want to be the hammer. You had an interesting offseason. When we went to team camp in June at Fort Hays State, you suffered a separated shoulder that required surgery. Kind of talk about the hard work that you've done to get back on the field. You've been back on the field the last 3 weeks, and really what you had to do, the process you had to go to kind of reclaim your senior year.
Well, as you asked me before, what did I do in the off season to prepare me for the season? Well, there's nothing that could have prepared me for that, first off.
Sure.
But, I mean, just physical therapy, taking care of myself after my surgery, and just not making dumb decisions with my shoulder and taking care of myself. I think that's what helped me come back.
A lot of physical therapy.
Yeah. I'm still doing it.
Yeah, you're still doing it, finishing out the year. Now, you have 2 weeks left in the season as a senior, your final season football. What are your goals in these last, really 10 days of practice and 2 games as you wrap things up?
Just go hard and not quit because, I mean, football's finite and it doesn't last forever.
Yeah, finish strong. I love that. Now, you're a senior. You're going to graduate in May. Good student. Really good grades. What are you going to do with all that? What do you plan to do after graduation?
Probably go to UCO and study criminal justice.
All right. That's right. I love that.
I want to work for the FBI when I grow up, and UCO is the place to do it.
There you go. That's a great answer. I could definitely see you doing that and being really good at it.
Well, I happen to know a professor down at UCO, so if you need help with, I can't help you with grades or anything, but I could help in some matter if at all possible. Herman, let me ask you this. You said you've been playing football since the 4th grade, and let's focus on the last few years. What will you take away from your experience dealing with your teammates and also the coaches? Outside of football, what will you take away in all these team-building experiences?
Well, I mean, football showed me a lot of things: to be punctual, always be on time. Definitely to grind everything out and not quit, and just simply go at everything and not be scared of doing stuff. Okay. That's what football's taught me.
Very good. Well, thank you for being here today in our studio. We certainly appreciate what you've done for the Plainsmen and for the coaching staff, and we certainly wish you well as you finish out your senior year.
You need to come out and watch number 60 play on a senior night this Friday night. He'll make you proud.
That's right, senior night. Number 60, defensive end, Herman Velazquez, or something close.
Yeah.
Well,
Spike.
And some people know him as Spike, is our student athlete for this week, and we thank Herman for being with us today. Okay, we're going to take another time out. We need to meet the assistant coaches, and we're going to come back with our segment called Chalk Talk. And we'll do that right after this. Thanks for joining us on Plainsman Football.
I'm Coach Dusty Quarles. I coach secondary. I went to the Northwestern Oklahoma State University, and the best advice I've ever been given is keep God first, and if you do so and have a relationship with Christ, then you'll never have to worry about whether or not you're adequate for today's journey.
I'm Kyle Young. I attended the University of Central Oklahoma. I coach linebackers and defensive coordinator. And the best advice I'd probably give or have received is when it comes to your morals or your faith, don't settle. Always stand on the rock and never falter no matter what's going around in your life.
My name is Kareem Sears. I coach the defensive line for the Enid Plainsmen. I went to the University of Nebraska, and the best piece of advice that I've gotten is leaders lead from the front, not from the back.
I'm Kyle Davis. I attended the University of Oklahoma. I coach the offensive line, and the best piece of advice I've gotten is give it to God.
Welcome back to the Coaches Show with Steve and Steve. Hope you enjoyed our student-athlete segment. We always enjoy introducing new players to you during our show. Okay, Coach, Chalk Talk, the X's and O, if you will. Earlier in the playbacks, you were talking about a stick route. Now, we've heard of the post route, and down and out, up and down, XYZ, whatever. But just for our viewers, remind us stick route. Is that kind of a timing thing?
What we do with our single receivers, which means the receiver that's all by himself on one side of the field, is he gets to tag his route. He gets to decide each game a combination of 2 or 3 routes that we think are going to be good against our opponent. And last Thursday night, one of those routes was what we call a stick route. And a stick route is an 8 to 10 yard out, where at 8 yards he's going to press straight up the field, run a straight line, and then 8 yards he's going to break out towards the sideline and catch the ball right around 10 yards. And the quarterback's taught on that play to throw the football when he makes his break. And when he turns around, the ball needs to be there. And the particular highlight that we showed today was really well covered, but because the ball was on time and placed perfectly and the route was run so well, there was nothing the defense could do about it, even when they covered it perfectly. And so when you get really good at it, it's really hard to defend without a second defender. And if they start committing a second defender to defending one person, now you've got a numbers advantage in other parts of the field.
Because if you are the defensive back, you're just trying to keep up with the receiver's move, which way he's going.
Correct.
You're not necessarily focusing on the ball. You're just trying to stay close.
Correct.
And then if the ball is already halfway there, it is a tough play to defend.
And what we've done in this particular game is we've given him the option of a stick route, which is an out route, or a slant, which is an in route. And so the defender really has to wait until the receiver makes his break before he can play it, because he has an in and out threat.
Right.
Makes it very effective.
Because he's froze for that moment, and then, he's going this way.
Ball's there, yeah.
Coach, we hear this on television all the time. If you watch college ball or high school ball, really any football, you hear the acronym RPO, and we understand that to be the run-pass option.
Yeah.
So tell us, kind of where did that terminology come from, to just explain to us RPOs?
You know, back when you and I played, there was play action passes where you would fake a run play with aggression and then throw a ball to the receiver. Well, it's kind of evolved into where you actually have a run play option tagged to a short pass. And so the quarterback has a decision to make based on how many defenders or defensive players are out covering the pass or inside in the box covering the run. And so based on that decision, he either chooses to throw the ball to the short pass route or to hand the ball off, because we're blocking run with the offensive line. As far as the offensive line knows, we're running the football. They have no idea when the quarterback throws it that he's going to throw it, because they're blocking a run play. The receivers are running pass routes, and the running back is a part of that decision process and needs to make sure that he's ready to take the ball if we're running it, and he's ready to carry out a good play fake if we're not. So it's kind of the best of both worlds. A lot of defensive coaches get unhappy about it because sometimes the linemen get further than 3 yards down the field, which is illegal. If you throw the football, they've got to be within 3 yards of the line of scrimmage. And so it's very effective as far as messing up our linebacker reads if they read offensive line.
The days of just calling one play to hand off and run off tackle, those days are really so gone. There's just so many options off of just one called play.
There actually is, and when you look at the one tag that Damian caught, on that play, there was a pass concept to the 3 receivers, there was the tag to Damian, and there was a run call for the running back. And of those 3 choices, the quarterback chose to throw the tag there, which was a great play. And I think that's kind of taken the place of audibling at the line of scrimmage. He picks what choice is best instead of telling everybody to change the play. Everybody runs their part, and the defense has to defend the entire field.
Very good, Coach. Thank you for that explanation. Here on Chalk Talk, our 2 topics today is the stick route and also the run-pass option. And for clarification, Coach Hayes really played football because he played at TCU. I was just one of those high school kind of folks, just for the record, since we're on tape. Okay, that's the Chalk Talk segment here on the Coach's Show with Steve and Steve. Let's take another time out and meet more members of Plainsman football.
Will Phillips, class of 2019, running back, safety.
My name is Tyrese Neal. I play corner and receiver, and I'm a junior.
John Gay, class of 2021, inside linebacker.
Maddox Mary, class of 21, quarterback and defensive back.
My name is Sean Graves, and I'm a nose guard, and I'm a sophomore.
My name is Zay Coleman, class of 2021, D-line and O-line.
Devontae Gordon, sophomore, linemen.
Welcome back to Plainsman Football, and I certainly enjoy the opportunity to share the platform with Coach Steve Hayes as we talk Enid Plainsman Football. And special thanks to our friends out at the mall. The men's department at Dillard's provides Coach's shirt wardrobe, if you will, each and every week. So we want to say thank you for the men's department at Dillard's out at the mall for providing Coach Hayes this football season his wardrobe. We appreciate that very much. And also, we want to say thanks to our friends at On Deck. They provide us this good-looking helmets, and we'll talk about Barry Sanders here in just a little bit later on in the show.
Yeah.
Okay, we're at the What Were You Thinking segment. Coach, well, first off, let me remind everybody, if you have a question about the game, a play that's called, or just anything dealing with Plainsman football, send us an email at asksteve@enid.org. That is ASK Steve @enid.org, and we'll, just like last week, we'll answer that question on the air. Okay, we're moving to the What Were You Thinking segment. Earlier in the program, Coach, you were talking about when the injury took place and you were going to have to make a substitution, and you referred to your assistant coaches already working on Plan B.
Sure.
So what were some of the conversations? What were you thinking, knowing, okay, this guy's not going back in, we've got to go to Plan B?
Mm-hmm. Part of good coaching is asking kids to do things they're capable of doing and not asking them to do things they're not going to be good at doing. And the kid's job is to receive coaching and do their best to do what the coaches ask them to do. When you have an injury at the quarterback position, you only have so much time in a week to work a game plan. And so your backups don't get as much work just by nature. And so when that happens, you revert to your base offense teaching, what you've learned in spring football, what you learned over the summer, what you learned during training camp. And that's the offense that you go to in those situations with your backup, because that's what they know well and they can execute well. A game plan is the application of that system of offense to a specific opponent. And so we were very fortunate that our offense is very adaptable to everything. And so when Maddox went in, he's a very coachable kid, so much so that you better make sure you tell him exactly what you want, because that's exactly what he's going to do. And we put him in the game, and we just really ran our base offense, and Maddox, for the most part, ran it to perfection, just did an unbelievable job. I mean, really, some ways, created a clinic tape for us to teach quarterbacks on how to make decisions in our base offense, and was highly successful because of that. And so our conversation was, okay, we've got Maddox going into the game. This is what he does well. This is what we're going to call. And so our game plan changed to specifically that menu of plays that Maddox Mayberry could be effective at, and he did a great job of it.
And I guess one of the key as a coaching staff is to know the individuals, know your kids, know your athletes, and know their capabilities. So it's not panic mode. It's not a surprise.
Yes.
Everybody says, okay, that's happened, therefore we will go this direction.
That's a great point, too, because if I were to call a play that Maddox had not practiced much, it would have created a high level of anxiety for him. By calling things that he's really good at and he's done a million times, it was very easy for him to go in and play well.
And at that stage of the game, you were looking for every ounce of confidence from everybody on the field.
Correct.
And if you call something that might diminish that, it could snowball.
It just doesn't work well.
All right. Well, Coach, thank you for sharing those insights, because sometimes as we're watching the coaches pace the sidelines or they're huddling up making decisions, sometimes we just want to know kind of what some of those conversations are. So thank you for sharing that.
You bet.
That's our What Were You Thinking segment. And again, as a viewer, if you have a question for Coach Hayes, please email at asksteve@enid.org, and we'll make sure Coach Hayes addresses that question. We're going to take another time out, and there's two things we need to do, is meet more of the assistant coaches, and also we're going to show the remaining district game schedule that the Plainsmen face, 2 more district games to go, and we'll be back right after this.
Coach Cameron Condor, coach quarterbacks, offensive coordinator, attended Grand Canyon University, Phoenix, Arizona. Best advice, be yourself. Don't worry what others are thinking about you.
My name is Coach Jake Hayes. I attend school at Evangel University in Springfield, Missouri. I coach wide receivers for the Enid Plainsmen. I teach PE at Hayes Elementary, and the best piece of advice I've ever received is anything worth doing is worth doing right.
I'm Coach Chad Miller. I graduated from Southwestern Oklahoma State University. I coach safeties for Enid High School. The best advice ever given to me was by my grandfather. He always told me if I wanted something in life, I would need to earn it through hard work.
Hello, my name is Wes McGill. I graduated from the University of South Dakota and North Dakota State University. I coach linebackers, and some of the best advice I've been given is proud men don't complain, they find solutions.
Thank you for staying with us today, and it's our pleasure each week to bring you Plainsman football. As you can see in front of Coach Hayes, we've got a Barry Sanders bobblehead doll. You can win that absolutely free, no purchase necessary, and we have 2 tailgate chairs with the Enid Plainsman logo on them. All you have to do is go to On Deck out at the mall, and there at the register area, they have a little box where you can fill out a little entry form, no purchase necessary. You see the good-looking, that's a good-looking chair, Coach.
It is.
And we've done a promo with that, but that's a tailgate chair with the Plainsman logo. We have 2 of those to give away. And, of course, there's Barry shaking his head saying, give me the ball, give me the ball. So we have 2 chairs and the bobblehead doll. In a couple of weeks, we will draw for that. Go out to On Deck. Real easy. Fill out an entry. No purchase necessary. Put your name in the hat, in the box. And Coach Hayes, in a couple of weeks, will draw a couple winners. But you got to enter to win. No purchase necessary. Thanks to our friends out at On Deck for providing that for us. Okay, the Yukon Millers. Way back in my days, we used to play Yukon, and that tells you how small of a town it was to how big it has grown today. It is really large. I believe they played Broken Arrow last week and kind of ran into a freight train or a brick wall, whatever term that you want to use. I believe Yukon is 4-4 overall, 1-4 in district. They come to Selby Stadium. Excuse me, it's senior night. What do you know about Yukon? You know,
Yukon started the season strong. They went 4-0 to start the year, and then they've struggled the last 4 weeks. They've gone 0-4. 1-4 in district. They're a good football team. They run the triple option like the Naval Academy and Air Force Academy, so you see a lot of option football, flexbone, wishbone type stuff, which I think is kind of fun to watch. Very aggressive on defense, even front defense. Their kids play hard, and their coach is doing a good job down there of building that program. They just kind of hit some hard times, a little bit like us, and so it'll be a game where both teams are looking to have a positive outcome for the first time in a while. It should be a good game for senior night, a good game for people to come out and watch.
And as Coach Hayes says, that is senior night. We encourage everyone out for a Friday night game. We're going to take this time out and show the airing times of the Coach's Show. We'll have a closing word right after this. Thank you for staying with us. Coach Steve Hayes of the Enid Plainsmen. Big night coming up. We all can recall senior night, if you will. If you will, Coach, walk us through Friday and then talk a little bit about the special opportunity for the seniors for senior night. You've got to walk through, you've got a team meal. Kind of walk us through what Friday looks like long before kickoff.
You know, this is a special game for this group of seniors. They're a group that I've had for 4 years. We're all kind of seniors together this year. And, you know, it's going to be tough to play that last home game, walk into that locker room after a game for the last time. You know, we've all done that who've played and know the emotion wrapped up in that and how special that moment is. And we want to make sure we have a great night honoring those guys. All the seniors and their parents or guardians will be introduced to the audience, the stand, prior to the game. They'll all get an autographed football, Plainsman football, as a keepsake, and a thank you, a big thank you for me and the coaching staff for all the hard work and contributions they've made to our program in the last 4 years. And then we'll kick off against Yukon, hopefully get those boys a win, and give them an opportunity to celebrate in that locker room one last time before we go on the road next week to play their final game.
And we have a 7 p.m. kickoff at Selby Stadium. And again, as Coach Hayes mentioned, it is senior night, so I encourage everyone to come out. And we know all the grandparents and parents and cousins and nephews and everybody will be there because senior night is very special.
It is.
So we wish the Plainsmen well again as the Yukon Millers come to town for a district game this coming Friday night. And then one more game after that, the Broken Arrow Tigers, I believe.
Yep, they are the Tigers. Yep.
All right. Well, Coach, appreciate your time today. Thanks for joining us. And thank you for joining us for the Coach's Show with Steve and Steve. It's our pleasure from the Enid Television Network studio to provide you Enid Plainsman football. Thanks for joining us today. Have a great week, everyone.
Thank you for watching Enid Plainsman Football with Steve and Steve on ETN.